The Masterpiece line is something that I've barely touched on in my videos, and today I thought I'd rectify that by taking a look at Masterpiece Ironhide. Now I understand that Ironhide here is not a new figure, but I don't care. I'd like to talk about him, as I have him out, I like him, and I want to say a few words about him. His alt mode is a very red, officially licensed cherry vanette. And as such, he does an awesome job of depicting the Ironhide that we all know and love from Transformers Generation 1. No, not the IDW comic book version of Ironhide, but rather the original G1 Ironhide. And it replicates the alt mode of the original toy very well, while going into a bit more detail than we got back in 1984. One thing to note, and it's an issue that I have with the more recent Masterpiece figures, is that the wheels are not rubber, but it's a small thing, and I won't say any more about it here. Another thing to note is that there's the clearly visible face inside the windshield that harkens back to Ironhide's G1 roots, specifically the Ironhide toy. The less we say about it, the better. I find it to be an interesting callback. It wasn't necessary. I would have preferred that it be some sort of flap that you could flip down if you wanted to, rather than just being there arbitrarily. But, well, it was the designer's choice, and I don't really think that it detracts that much from the toy. And of course, this van becomes this robot. And what a robot it is. Ironhide is very faithful to the character model used in the Generation 1 cartoon, and as well as the later issues of the Marvel comic book. Not the first few, where he was depicted more accurately to the G1 Ironhide toy. Ironhide is red, as you would expect for an Ironhide, and unlike some more recent incarnations of Ironhide, his chest is not a cheat. This is actually the front windshield of the vehicle, which is to be expected for a Masterpiece figure. I had some concerns about his head looking at the initial pictures, because it looked very long and squashed, but in hand it's completely fine. Now, of course, Ironhide comes with several accessories which are used in both his robot and vehicle mode, and even though I'm going to show them off here, I'm not going to bother to show them interacting with the figure, because number one, there's a lot of them, and number two, it's not really necessary, in my opinion, for the review of the actual figure itself. Of course, he does come with a gun, and I will show him off holding that, just because, so you can see how well he holds it. Now, there are 2 points of contention with collectors in regards to this figure. Number one being these panels on his sides, which I've heard people decry those from the day that we got photos of this guy, and honestly, I don't care. They're fine. And the other thing is these wheels in the back, which, while not part of the original animation model, I think they did the best they could with trying to figure out where to put them in his robot mode. And again, it's not something that I really care about. They're fine. They're really fine. Ironhide is a welcome addition to my Masterpiece ranks, my Autobot ranks, my Transformers ranks, and I'd love to get the Ratchet version of this mold, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. And until then, I do have Masterpiece Ironhide to tide me over. This has been Aaron from My Turbo Reviews, saying catch you later. good click.